Am I live? I'm live. All right, good. Hello. Today is April 19th. Yeeks. Screaming along. All right, so while I wait for you guys to come, I will continue reading my suppressive declare. So we are on number 4, continued adherence to a person or group pronounced a suppressive person or group by HCO. I don't know if I adhered to a person or group. I was friends with them. Hey, hi, Christina. Hi, Sean. All right, well, you guys are here. That's good. Happy Friday. Happy Friday night. It's the weekend. Woohoo! Hi, Pink. Fun to have you over here. Hello, Magoo from Minnesota. And Dragon Tears for me. Aw, good evening from Seattle. Hi. Hi, Hans. Hey, Pink. You're saying hi again. That was interesting about my husband. You didn't get to say that, but she said something in another over in DOA's site. I was over there for a few minutes, and they had a barbecue tonight, and it sounded like it was a lot of fun. He said there were 1,400 people on the online. Woo! Hi, Tori from Illinois. All right, nice, really nice. My home state. I grew up in Chicago, in the suburbs in Park Ridge, and then Lake Forest. But really, Park Ridge is my home. That's what I consider my home. And then I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, so that's where my grandparents lived. And that's where I graduated from high school there. My parents sent me back to Kansas City because I was such a maniac in Lake Forest. And so they said, all right, we'll send her to Kansas City and her grandparents can watch her, which that really worked. That was a plan. I will say to all of you, if you have young kids, do not ever move in their sophomore year in high school, ever. I mean, it was the worst thing my parents could have done. Story Magoo, happy Friday. Thank you, Gurur. I'm happy to have you here. It's good to see you guys. I'm happy. I hope you're having a good Friday night. I did. What did we do? I went over to Spanky's and we saw, we saw Shark Tank, and then we watched Bill Maher. Those are two of our Friday night things that we often do. That I love Shark Tank. I mean, it's just crazy to see the stuff that they do. And, people come up with ideas, and some of them are fantastic, and some of them aren't at all, so it's really interesting to see how it plays out. Anyway, tonight I'm going to talk to you guys about Scientology and what was the actual title? Do they help you gain, Scientology, will they help you regarding gaining weight or losing weight? And absolutely 100%, I can say with experience, no, they don't. And I think maybe, I'm not really sure, it's kind of odd because they really promote how they help you, right? And it's like, it doesn't matter what your problem is. Hi, Farah. It doesn't really matter what your problem is. They'll say, oh yeah, we can definitely help you with that. Can they help you with that? Not really. Most things, no. I mean, I think probably 40 pounds. Well, I was probably 20 pounds overweight when I joined Scientology in 1969. And then I gave birth to my son. So now I was like 40 pounds overweight. And then from Scientology, I just got heavier and heavier. And I also, part of it was me trying to diet, right? And they not willing to help me. So it was kind of, don't forget to share the love, folks. Hit the like button. Yeah, that's right. Please hit the like button. We did good last night. Thank you for that, Gurur. So what happened to me is I got on OT7, which is their thing is like a triangle, and OT7 is like the second to the top, right? And I was on it for 7 years. It didn't work. It didn't work for me at Oh, I didn't have a win on it. It was a mess. And it was a mess for many, many people on the level, to the point where they came out and said, oh, we realized, Miscavige had this huge event, and he said, oh, we realized that we really screwed up and we trained you wrong. And that's why the OT7s are so screwed up. And it was like, well, thank you for having a huge announcement in front of the entire group instead of calling us into a private room and talking to us privately. It was really awkward. And then afterwards, we're sent to the reg, and the reg says that'll be $25,000 to pay to redo OT7 again. And I'm like, are you insane? And I wrote a letter to David Miscavige that night, and I said, if you were any kind of a quality business, and let's say I bought a car from you, and I bring it home and it falls apart. Any quality business would bring you a brand new car and probably throw in a CD player or something that wasn't even something you paid for because of the mistake they made. And I just got back, okay, continue. That's always what I got from those people. It was like insane. But, it was just one of those things where they just really didn't help people. And the bigger I got, because I gained 100 pounds while I was in Scientology. And the bigger I got, the worse it got. And the more I kept writing up saying, I can't do this level. I need to get off and lose this weight. And I'd just get back, okay, continue. And I should have just walked out. I really should have. And if anybody is in Scientology and listening, it doesn't work. The way out is the nearest door. So just take it. Open the door, walk out. They cannot, you think they can do all these things to you, but they really can't. And you know what? Like Andrea said, what kind of friends could those be if they're going to leave you because you change your mind? And that was it for me. That cracked open my Truman Show. It really did. It was just like, he's right. And I realized, and that's exactly how they were. Those guys turned on me on a dime. These are my 30-year friends. They're just like, gone. It was awful. It was really unbelievable. But as a result, I've met people all around the world. I have wonderful friends now, and they're really dear people like you guys. I mean, I love that you guys come on here. It's wonderful. And what Pink said, it was super weird. I watched Bunker's video that just came out, and I asked if the man was your husband. You said yes. YouTube would not show me to say both of you were so cute. such a sparkle. Yeah, we were a good couple. We really were. It was really a shame for me. He was never a true believer. I was. So when I left, I thought, cinch, I'll just come back and get him. I thought he wanted to leave. So it was really kind of shocking when I came back and he said, you left me and I'm divorcing you and all this stuff. It was like, wow, that didn't turn out the way I thought. All right. Now, Lynn says Tennessee is the house catching Tory live. Oh, he's in the house catching Tory live. That is correct. That is correct. And Charles says, hi, Tory. I'll pay to see those Scientology July celebration goons on Mark Video's old video. Try that physical intimidation crap on William Streets. Okay, now wait. I'd pay to see those Scientology July celebration goons on Mark Bunker's. Oh yeah, right. Try to that physical intimidation. Yeah, I would too. Yeah. I mean, if you haven't seen it, he has this thing where it's the 4th of July, that party that he showed. And these guys come out and they're like, what are your crimes? What are your overs? Who did you murder? They're just like going on and on. They really sound insane. I remember watching it and just going, this is insane. It's just unbelievable. And it's unbelievable that you can be in a cult and kind of just shut that off. You know what I mean? Because it's like I could see it was insane, but I didn't go, you know what, this is insane, I'm leaving. Because if you leave, you lose all your friends. And that's a lot. Just think of all your friends now. If you had to lose all of them now, just, it's difficult. and often your family, like, my husband. I got my son out before I even woke up. I just, because I didn't want him being tortured by these guys. And I could just see they just had such shitty stuff for kids. I mean, I went and watched them teach them how to do tiaras, and it was like, are you kidding me? This is a joke. And that wasn't even the church. That was a public guy that was teaching the communication course to kids. I was like, no. Now here's a question, but please write question on it. Was it your ex-husband's mother that was in Scientology or no? Yeah. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was my ex-husband. He was my husband when I was in Scientology, Harold Bazazian, and his mother, Flo Bazazian, was in Scientology, and his dad, Paul. Both of them were in Scientology since 1950. And LRH on one of the tapes says hello to Wing and Smokey Angel and Flo and Paul Bazazian. And Flo wrote him once and asked, why did you mention us? Because there were a lot of people. And he said, because you kept Scientology alive in Chicago. And they did. They really did. It wasn't just money. They did donate money to him, but they also had people over to their house all the time, kind of learning about Dianetics. And some of their old stories are really funny. I mean, they're just really a crack up. And in fact, I dug out, where did I put it? Someone asked me if I could show them the old Dianetics book that I have. So here it is. This is the original Dianetics book. Here you go. And there's that's because I did the book one seminars with book one. This is book one. And those are all my things that I had to answer questions from people. Okay, so let's see. Okay, other people are saying hello. Hey, Magoo from Ireland. All right, nice, very nice. Danny Clark. All right, enjoy Ireland. I loved Ireland. I really did. Okay, City of Angels. Hi. I hope to meet you one day, Carlos. Well, if you're in City of Angels in LA, that can't be that hard. You just have to give me a call or send me a message or something. You should come protest with us. All right, now this is a question. Do you think their old bull baiting tactics are about to make a comeback? I don't think they ever stopped doing them. They're part of the communication course. And they're, depending on who you're doing them with, they're weird. Mine, I always did. They were just funny because it was just, I happen to be, if you've ever heard of Toastmasters, Toastmasters was started mostly by men in the beginning of the 19th century, or I forget if it's the 20, but 1900s, in the early 1900s. And they started Toastmasters because they wanted to practice how to speak in front of a crowd and not be embarrassed. So Scientology started a Toastmasters section at Celebrity Center, and I went to it, just thinking it'd be cool. And it was really cool. If you have any reservation about speaking, I would say look up Toastmasters in your area and find a group you like, because obviously there's some groups that you like, some you won't, but find one that you like and do their program. It's really fantastic. But it ended up, they had I forgot what they called it. It was like a comedy kind of a thing. And I thought, well, I don't know. But I always told this one thing during bull baiting. That's what made me think of it. And people would always crack up. I mean, it was just all the time. And so I did it in the Toastmasters show and I won. So that was round one. So now I go to round two, and these guys are really pretty good. And they're using like Toastmasters as some of the guys, that was their thing. So everyone's laughing. And I think, oh God, I don't want to follow this because mine's about an old man with no teeth, that kind of thing. It was just it wasn't Toastmasters. And so I'm up after that guy and everyone's laughing about the Toastmasters thing. So I get up, I do my story, and I won. again. So now the third time I'm up against guys like Billy Crystal. I mean, it wasn't really, but they're really funny comedians. And it was just awful. I just thought, oh, this is going to be awful. And I went. No, that was the second time. And the second time I went was the really professional comedians, and I won. So now this lady called me and she goes, okay, we want you to come out to LAX because we're having a big convention. All the Toastmasters are going to be there. And if you win this, you'll go to Hawaii and then international. And I'm like, I can't believe this, right? It was all on this funny story I told at bull baiting. So anyway, I go there, but the majority of the audience are very, very old people. They're the old Toastmasters, right? And I have to start out, he's an old man with no teeth. And you can see him looking at me going, so fucking what? I don't have any teeth either, right? It was awful. It was just awful. And part of the rules of it is you can't change the topic at all. Whatever you were going to talk about, that's what you have to talk about. So it was really awful. But obviously I lost, but the girl who came in second was an attorney, and she won an award and threw it on the table and ran upstairs and locked herself in the room and was crying. And I went up there to try to help her, and she was like, I was supposed to win. And I was like, all right, at least you came in second. It was better than me. Mine was a total. It was like, I forget the movie where the guy's a comedian and he completely bombs out. And that's how it was. It was really awful. But luckily, and I never brought my friends or my family to any of them, to the first one or the second one. So now the third one, I brought all my friends and my husband and my son. And my son is very, very good at perceiving things. And he said, Mom, the only reason you lost is because the audience was mostly seniors and they couldn't get with the program because it's a funny story, but it's not funny to them. And he said, if you'd done a thing on kids, you would have won. And that's what the person who won, it was about kids. So anyway, I forget how I got off on to tell you that story. Oh, about bull baiting. That's right, because that was the bull baiting story. And everyone who'd sit down, they'd go, all right, you got to tell me it was called the sufferer. They'd say, you got to tell me the sufferer story. And anyway, I would, and because it's bull baiting, they'd always start laughing, and then you have to flunk them and then start them again, and yet they have to get to where they can live through it without laughing. It was fun. It was funny though, because it was a fun story. Okay, Susan Ward, you're late, so you have to pay 50 cents. That's a new rule. All right, now wait. Here's another person. Hello. Hi, everyone. And Alaska is saying hello back. All right, now this is Tori. When you say the way out is through the door, I hear in my head the Paul Simon song, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, maybe 50 Ways to Leave Your Cult. Good. Yeah, it's a takeoff on Hubbard saying the way out is the way through, meaning you have to go through every single level before you can actually get out and be free, right? That's his concept. But then remember, in the 80s, he died. And they just announced, well, he found that his physical body was holding him down, so he had to move on. So that's what happened. So that's when I left. I started the way out is the nearest door, because it's sort of like it is, just take the door and go. You don't have to route out and all this. They have all these a million things that you have to do to before you leave, and of course you never get through them. So that's why I never routed out. I just left. Oh, good. I'm glad you like seeing that book. Yeah, the Dianetics book. That's an original one. It is. Okay, if you could get one person out of Scientology right now, who would you save? My husband, my ex-husband. I would. I really would. I feel very bad for him that he's, because he got up to OT8 and he was just a mess. And I feel really bad about that. And I know he's remarried and everything else, but I don't care. If I could, I would. He's the number one person that I would get out. Call me old school, but I married him. Okay. Good morning from South Africa. Hi, Carolyn. Nice. That was a good question, though, Gurur. I like that. Thank you. Okay, good. City of Angels says the next time you're out at the Blue Building, I'll stop by. Good. Yeah, that'd be good. And introduce yourself. And let me know that you're on this site. I think a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to leave something that you believe in your whole life. Well, it is. It's hard to leave something that you believe in, but it's also really hard because, like in a cult, if you leave, you're going to lose every single friend, and if any of your family are in, that too. So it's really, really difficult. I mean, it's a big, like I have that sign, "Leap and the net will appear," and it's like, you know, you really have to make the leap. It's just like. And it does. It does. Here, look at this is another one of my signs. Can you read it? Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. I love that. It's true. It's really true. Will you ever write a book? It would be amazing. I know. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've had people since the day I left say you got to write a book. And it's just I'm not a writer. It's like you see, I'm comfortable speaking, but I'm not comfortable writing. And I've tried it at least 100, if not 1,000 times. I get going, and then I think, who cares? And it's so broad. There's so much in my life. It's like I don't want to do too much because I have a friend who did like just too many. And it would have been perfect if they'd condensed it into one book, but they didn't. And as a result, I don't think it ever really went anywhere. So I don't want to do that where it's just too much. You know what I mean? And also, I'm not a writer. That's the thing. So if I could and a lot of people say, I'll be a ghostwriter for you. And I always say, have you ever written a book? No. Well, that's not going to work. So I've got to find somebody that's written a book and they'll be the ghostwriter for it, or a mutual, like us together. Oh, no, wait. Here's Robert Sandy Beach. All right. Hi, Miss T. Here in Atlanta City. No zeniths here. All right. Okay, and this is Gurur. You could co-write it like Paula Cooper did with Tony, if Tony wanted to, but that's another thing. It was like that was a big deal for Tony. I don't believe we can lose true friends. We lose people, but only really ever having a handful of close friends. I know it sounds like that, and I would have sworn to that while I was in Scientology, but I'm telling you, those people dropped me like hot pancakes. I mean, it was just like, it was unbelievable. I ran into one of my really dear friends and her daughter went like this, like, "Hey, Tori." And then she turned around and her mother obviously said she's declared, or she left or something, because she turned around and just gave me a really dirty look. And her mother just, forget it. And I said, how can you possibly turn on me like this? You don't even know why I left. It's like, it still kind of blows my mind that people will never even say, because like when my friend John left, his wife was my best friend. And I said to her, let's go find out what happened. Let's go talk to him. And she was like, no, we can't. And I ended up going out and talking to him, and he ended up being my roommate for 7 years. It was like, he's a really good guy, but then he passed away. So there you go. And his son was one of the 17 I know who killed himself. So that was rough. And Scientology. I talked to a kid today. I run into kids all the time. And this guy, I was in Ralph's, and he walked by me, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he said, "Okay, like not good." And I said, "Look, just so you know, everybody your age is in the same boat you are. You don't know it because everybody acts like they're doing great, but the truth is they're not." And the more we talked, the better he was. It was really cool. I was really happy I talked to him. Um, okay. Okay, so I get that, Caroline, and I would have thought that in Scientology, but because I was in a cult, I mean, they were very much my real friends, but boy, you leave, forget it. Not in a cult. Question: do you think you would have left if you knew your husband wouldn't come with you? That's a good question. I think at that point I had to, because I found out about the enforced abortions. I knew about the dark side of OSA, where I was opening up those phony accounts and they were treating me like the mafia. And it was just sort of like, I didn't get into Scientology for this. And I sort of knew he he was not in that at all. We kept him out of it completely. And so, and that wasn't just my decision. It was like they didn't want him to know anything about it. And neither did Bill's wife know anything about it. She died probably never knowing anything about it. Um, but Harold, I just don't think, I couldn't have left. It would have either been stay and stay with Harold or go. And at that point, I couldn't support Scientology anymore. I just couldn't. It was just too icky. And it's like when you see enough stuff that is just wrong, I don't know, for me, I have to do something. And that's what happened. I thought he'd come, but that's a good question. But no, I'm 99% sure I would have gone anyway. All right. Comment. Like most other things in Scientology, routing out seems to be yet another long, drawn out bureaucratic process designed to wear the leaving member down and make them change their mind. 100%. That is exactly correct. That's the design, and that's what they do. And they just pick on you and pound on you until most people just go, all right, I'm staying. They're like, you're in doubt. That's what's happening. You're just in doubt. You need to do the doubt conditions and decide which side you're really on, them or us. And of course they bring in your friends and stuff like that so that, you're kind of reminded of all the people you love. And I mean, I've never routed out, so I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking that's it. And that's what people have told me. But I was like, I'm not going through that. I know it's awful. And I know the end of it is you go back. And so I was like, no, I'm just going. Let's see. YouTube is your genre. Perhaps we had to wait for an occasion to arrive. YouTube is your genre. Perhaps we had to wait for the occasion. Well, I've been doing YouTube since 2008 when Anonymous gave me the webcam. I've been on it for a long time. I mean, DOA was like, I can't believe you've made over 900 videos and you have nearly 5 million hits on your videos. That's a lot of people watching it, and you've never made any money. Because back then, I mean, unless you had a website or something and you could set it up where people could donate, which I just didn't. I didn't know how to do it. So that's the way it was, So he was like, I can't believe that, and I said, I know, but you can now. And here, if you want to, I would greatly appreciate it. And here's the one he set up, Cash App with my name, the money sign in front of it. And this one is PayPal.me/ and then my name TORI, which is misspelled, but that's okay. You can still use it. And then Venmo. There you go, with my name. And those are all, if you look under Tori Chrisman in the original page, it says for more information on Tori, and they're there, just so you know. All right. Oh, thank you. Oh, wait, wait. This isn't the one I'm thinking. Let's see. So sad our Scientology sees us in secret and pretends he isn't in the church, but he is a second gen and still does courses. You know someone like this, Caroline? Our Scientology sees us. Oh, you mean this must be like your child and pretends he isn't in the church, but he is a second gen and still does courses. All I'll say is if he's your child, be thankful every day that you get to talk to him. Because I know so many families where they haven't talked to their kids in years and they would give anything. Oh wait, I guess I screwed up on this. Wait, hang on. I gotta get it. There we go. Where they'd give anything to talk to their child. So even though it's sort of, it's not perfect, but life isn't perfect. You know what I mean? And it's like, as long as they're staying in touch with you, I think that's a very good thing. Now, let me just see. Hang on. Wait, I got to go back a little bit because I think I missed a bunch of things. Okay, so I think this one, I think you're talking about your child or a friend of yours. And either way, yeah, it is kind of sad that they can't just come out, but keep at it, because you can keep planting seeds and eventually they may. Okay, and this is from Spartacus. I bet you made a huge impact on the young man's day that you spoke to in Ralph's. I did. I mean, I'm not saying that like braggadociously, but I could tell. That's why I always tell kids because I know it from experience. And it's like when you're in that age bracket, and I told him, I said, I know 17 kids who've killed themselves who are from 18 to 26. And I said, how old are you? And he said, 19. And I said, okay. So realize this. All you have to do is get through that age bracket. Just get through it. Because it's like if you realize it's just a finite amount of time, and then you're okay. I mean, the amount of people that commit suicide dramatically goes down after I think 26 or 28. So I said, just push on through and keep doing it because you'll be okay. It's just you have to know every person that you think is doing wonderfully. Most of them are not. They aren't. If they're in your age bracket, they're just not. That's the way it is, and you just have to recognize it and work on every day, take it a day at a time, and just get through it. And I think he did. In fact, he was smiling at the end, and I was like, oh God, he's a very handsome guy. So hopefully it did help him. All right, comments. Dropping hot pancakes, it does sound particularly sad, but seriously, being completely erased from people's lives must have felt baffling and devastating, at least at the very beginning. It was. I mean, I will say mostly because of my husband, I did cry for 2 years. I'd walk in any store or the AMC where we used to go for movies or restaurants, and I would just burst out crying. And people would come over, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I was, and that's where I set up the meltdown committee, with my 4 friends that helped walk me through just the grief. I mean, it was awful. It really was. It was very painful for me. But at least I recognized it's okay to be sad like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like I went to see my doctor and he said, if you have this, 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 and this, and this, let us know. And I said, frankly, I have all of those. And he said, okay, right now, come with me. And he marched me over to a psychiatrist, and I started crying and told him my story. And he said, okay, you need to be on medication. Here's your medication. And I came home and I called Stacy and I said, I just feel like having lost as much as I have. I mean, everything I believe in, all of my 30-year friends, my husband of 27 years. I mean, I honestly think I should be crying. It's okay to cry and let it out, get it out. You know what I mean? And I did. She agreed with me. She said, yeah, definitely. I agree. Except if you get suicidal, then take the medicine. which I'm not that kind of person, so it didn't happen. But yep, it was pretty devastating. It was. But it was also, you have to remember, it's a combination of devastation and joy. Because I also was free. I was meeting new people. I was meeting wonderful people, just like you guys. I mean, it's like, it's fantastic for me. So, yeah, it was awful to lose those people. But when you see that they just drop you like a hot pancake, it's like, okay, like Andrea said, what kind of friends could those be if they're going to leave you because you change your mind? And I had Andreas, I was with Bob, Stacy, Mark, it was like I had and I was building a friendship, you know, of people. And this was before I even came back to LA. And then in LA, I got all my old LA friends that they hadn't talked to me in years because they'd been out for years. So we all got connected up. And anyway, it's been a really good trip, but it's been an evolution. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you do hit those rocky roads, and my view is learn from it. Just try to learn from it. Don't like shut down. You know what I mean? Like, just try to see what you can get out of it. What can you learn from it? Who can you talk to? And I talk to everybody. I mean, I talked to a lady in Staples who gave me some great advice. Stacy's cleaning lady gave me the best advice. I mean, the first day I was there, it was just sort of like all these people that normally when I was in Scientology, it wasn't that I thought I was better than them, but I was so busy being a Scientologist, I wouldn't have had time to ask them anything. But anyway, now I did. So it was a good transition. Is my channel getting monetized soon? Good question, Gurur. Here's the thing. There's 3 steps to getting monetized. And I can't remember. One of them, DOA came over and tried to do it, and it got snagged on one of them. Like this, I think it's the second one or the third. And I can't remember the name of it, but it starts with an A. And he said, you've got to call these people. So I've got to text him. But tonight he had the big barbecue, and I know he was really busy. So I'll see if I can get it maybe tomorrow. But he told me, so you have to call such and such, and it starts with an A. It's the name of something that's on either the second step for monetization or the third. But if anybody knows, please call me. I mean, I would love help on it because I would like to get it done. I would. And I also want to know do you think it's a good idea to make members or not? I don't know. This is all new to me, but I thought, well, that might be cool. I don't know. So you guys let me know. I've been watching you since 2008. All right. I know that I recognize Wovian. Sherry, hi. That's a long time. That's anonymous days. All right. Alaska, Caroline, TG. Oh, that's awful. I hope they muster the courage to leave. Circumstance allows as soon as possible. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Acer 211. All right. He has a question, or she. I'm not sure which. When was the last time you were at Flag Land Base, and would you travel there to protest? It's a good question. They have an injunction out, and I'm part of that they made lifetime. So I can only protest following the rules of that injunction. And remember, they tricked me the first time and ended up, I had to go to court and everything else. So it's not really my favorite place to travel to protest, but I probably would if there was a big one. I probably would, but it's not something I'm dying to get to. I hate humidity. I hate it. It's one of the reasons I left Chicago early on. I just hate humidity. And in Clearwater, you just walk out of the plane and it's like, and so it's not something I'm dying to get to. And the last time I was at Flag was probably 2000, around there. Yeah, 2000. Okay. Oh my God. I caught a live. Love what you do, Tori. All right. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. It's always fun. And here's Good SP. Tori, is KSW keeping Scientology worried? It should be. It's actually keeping Scientology working, for anybody who doesn't know. I have a feeling you do know it, but it should be keeping Scientology worried. And I think it is now. It actually is, because they are worried. I mean, it's amazing to see. It's just unbelievable. Now, Good SP for 24 years now. Okay, I must have missed something earlier that Good SP said. So let me look. Ooh, 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 ooh. Good SP, where are you? Oh, I can't find it. Well, it must be that how long have you been in or out? I think, I don't know. I know I've been out for 24 years. I don't know. I don't see it. I went all the way back up there. I don't see it. Okay. Okay, here's no worries whatsoever. Okay. Here's a question. With Scientology members potentially running into psychological no way out situations, do you reckon the protesters should add a suicide prevention helpline number to their business cards? I think that might be a good idea. I do. I mean, I know them and they're sort of brainwashed against any kind of other helpline. But you know what? Yeah, I think so. Because, I mean, maybe if somebody's going to call, maybe they would call that line. It can't hurt. It certainly can't hurt. I do think it's a good idea. Thank you. Yeah, I do. I don't know that they'll call it, but I think it's a good idea. All right, so back to, does Scientology help you with losing weight? No, they don't. And the odd thing is they really don't have anything except ethics conditions, which I think I did about 8,000 of them. And, it just, they never helped at all. I just kept gaining weight and gaining weight. And finally, I joined Weight Watchers. And the oddest thing is, as you get up higher and higher on the bridge, you have less and less freedoms. So by where I was, it was like thinking was a very bad idea, because you had to go back there every 6 months to do their OT7 sec check, where they're saying, did you ever steal this or did you ever do that? And a lot of the questions were things I never even thought of. So then now you get up there and you're home and you're like, okay, I don't even want to think about it, because they'll bring it up in session and I have to pay for it. It's like $7,000 every 12 and a half hours. I think it's really expensive. So now I join Weight Watchers, and she's the first thing she says, okay, so you go into a store, you see an apple, you see a donut, apple, donut. What do you do? She said, have a committee meeting. And this is how brainwashed I was. I go, can you explain what a committee meeting is? I honestly didn't know what she meant. And she said, well, you know how you're thinking? And this is what Scientology was saying was my case. She's saying, everyone does it. Should I get the apple? Should I get the donut? Should I get the apple? Should I get the donut? And then her thing was, make a better choice. That's all. Make a better choice. I mean, she had a million things that helped me, but that was the first one that helped me. Excuse me. But isn't that amazing? It's just sort of like Scientology is like, don't think at all. It's like, how can you not think? I mean, it just, later when I got out, I thought that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And they never said it, but Hubbard's no to mystery scale, thinking is way down at the bottom. You're just supposed to know things. Okay. All right. So, I see. Good SP said you were KSW keeping Scientology worried. Absolutely. I am, and I am intentionally, and I will until they're gone. It's like, or they stop doing all their creepy stuff, but they'd have to make some big major changes. And I've told them what they are, but they don't do them, so they're not going to. A cult hotline would be nice. Yeah, except unfortunately, the cult hotline now goes to Scientology. They bought the what was it called? The Cult Awareness Network. They bought it. So now when you call the Cult Awareness Network thinking someone's going to help you with a cult, it's Scientology. So I don't know that I'd say a cult hotline because you might get Scientology. Isn't that gross? I mean, what kind of pathetic? And the worst part is, I was part of the suits. I didn't know it because they're always like, just sign here. Here's the thing. Just sign it right there. We're handling something. Being a true believer, I'm like, okay, what are you handling? Oh, we're handling the Cult Awareness Network. And I was like, oh yeah, I know that's awful. It wasn't awful. It was a bunch of parents trying to find out about their kids. But you don't know that when you're in the Scientology Truman Show. And I didn't know I was even part of the suits. They had 100 suits that they did. And that's how they shut them down. Excuse me. But I didn't even know until after I left. And I went to an attorney's office. I think I told you guys this. And the guy was really nice. But the ladies were really ticked off at me. And I said, I don't get it. I'm on the net. I'm telling everybody everything I know. Why are they so mad at me? And he said, Tori, I don't think you know how many things you were in regarding Scientology. And I knew, like, I was part of going downtown and getting the street named L. Ron Hubbard Way. That was me and Yachty. We went down there and did that. We might have had a couple other people, but it wasn't much. I knew a few things I did. I did the phony accounts, which I said, but I didn't know that I was part of that Cult Awareness Network shutdown. And that kind of ticked me off because that was very covert. They didn't really tell me what they were doing. And I didn't know. I mean, I shouldn't have signed it, but that's the thing. If you're in, don't sign anything at all. Nothing. It's like DOA always says to people, don't talk to the police. Don't talk. Don't say a word. And that's kind of how it is with Scientology. Don't sign anything. Nothing. 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 All right. So now let's see. This is Charles. I am LOLing because one of my top reasons for moving back to Los Angeles is the Mediterranean climate, dry air, and mild winters. Yeah. So I think you mean as far as the humidity and getting away from that, or I'm not sure. I like it here too. I love the weather here. I don't know why you're laughing though. You have to tell me why you're laughing. All right, donut. Okay. You can't do that with me. It doesn't matter. I haven't eaten a donut since I started Weight Watchers in 1999. I haven't had a donut. And I won't. It's symbolic. For me, it's like overeating for me was like being an alcoholic where I would just eat and eat and eat. And donuts was a big thing of what I'd eat. So I just said, no, I'm not. And now I've lost 100 pounds. I've kept it off for 14 years. So my friends are like, oh, you can have a donut. And I go, I know I can have a donut. I just don't want one. I mean, I have other desserts, I'll have cake and stuff like that. I just won't have a donut because that was my promise to myself. Nope, ain't having it. This seems like a trick. Peaceful drama. This seems like a trick. I think you're saying scenario. As far as what? That's sort of an incomplete, I don't know what you're talking about. Pink, I was thinking about something along the lines of Samaritans USA. We all know how to to enter Cult Awareness Network. Affair ended up, unfortunately. Okay, so it would be something without the name of cult. Along the lines of Samaritans USA. Okay. Well, I'll say go for it. It's like, if you want to do it, do it. It's not something I want to do, but if you want to do it, give it a shot. See what happens. Now see this kind of thing, I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh man, that's scary. What's scary? You've got to, if you say something like that, say you were talking about blah, that's really scary. You see what I mean? Then it makes sense. But otherwise, peaceful drama, mm, it's not very peaceful. Okay, comment. It's terrifying in a deeper level, actually, how Scientology sells freedom and immortality, and you end up trying to keep your own mind devoid of all the risky thoughts. Yeah. I mean, it's that's why I'm trying to tell you guys these stories, so you get how deep this thing goes, because it's like it doesn't, it's kind of hard in a couple of sentences to say what is Scientology and tell you what it is and have you go, whoa, now I'm getting the picture. But you guys come on here every night, and I think it's coming into 3D, right? Do you think so? Let me know, because I'm curious as if you feel like you're learning something or not. Um, so many comments on my part today. That's okay. I'm happy to have as many as you. If you think something, say it. That's my thing. Okay, now this is something from Casey Knight. Wow, C of S is low buying anything that is against their SO called briefing religion, including LAPD officers and the hotline. Yeah, I know. They've been doing that for a long time. That's not a new thing. That's been going on for years, because we've been picketing for years, and they're definitely in their pocket, no question. Not all of them, but some. Okay, here's peaceful drama again. Oh wow, Tori, that's insane. Okay, you need to tell me what's insane, because I don't know. I'm talking about a bunch of different things. So if you make a comment like that, please do me the favor of saying what you're talking about, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Hey, lovely people. I remembered to hit the like button on the way in. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Fluffer Squirrel, hi. How are you? Thank you very much. And I hope you subscribed, because I went over to your site and subscribed. All right, Casey Knight, that's how they took down the Lisa McPherson Trust too. Really? Doing what? I wait, Casey Knight. Okay, C of S. Oh, buying anything that is against their so-called beliefs, religions, including LAPD officers and the hotline. Okay. I don't know that that's true, but it might be. Um, okay. And that could be Jessica's next bureaucratic troll. She could try to get LRH Way name changed back through the city. I say leave it. It's like it really, and honestly, there's so many things that we need to work on. Number one being removing their tax exemption. If you're going to put energy into something, put it into that. I mean, getting rid of the name of L. Ron Hubbard Way. Why? That's all that is on that street. That's all I said. That's why they named it the street. Because Yachty and I were there saying, look, the majority of the street, I think there's like 2 buildings that aren't Scientology. All the rest of that block is Scientology. So why not name it L. Ron Hubbard Way? And then it's there. And I think the neighbors kind of like it, because it's like it contains it to a great degree. It's like that's all it is. It's not any farther than that. That's it. Anyway, I don't know if they do, but I know they don't like Scientology. The neighbors don't at all. I've been there, and they're like, no. But it could be. She could do it. I just think it's a lot of energy, and I don't think it's worth the energy. Alaska, sorry, my autocratic is stupid. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Fluffer Squirrel, such a wonderful chat Tori has. Good to see you all. Well, it's good to see you too. You should come a little earlier. It usually starts around 11:30, 11:30 to 12. But what time is it now? Oh yeah, it's 12:28. All right, so we've been rolling along. Now this is Alaska. Okay, she's answering the enemies to absolute. Yeah, it's true. They do. Well, yeah, pretty much. That's true. It's unfortunate. Thankfully, I was never in the Guardian's office. That was awful. They really did some bad stuff. Your hair is amazing. Thank you. I always acknowledge Joe, my hairdresser. He is an excellent. He styles it in a way. I just washed it today. I haven't curled it or done anything. I just washed it and I blow dried it. But that's all. But it's because he knows how to cut it. He knows I can't really do much with it. And so, because I have a lot of hair, I have like 3 heads of hair. So he cuts it so that it's easy for me. All right, now here's a comment from Alaska. Peaceful Drama was referring to Scientology buying out the Cult Awareness Network, as you were talking about it. I gotcha. Okay, so she was saying that was awful. Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. That helped. Okay, and that is good morning, Tori, and everyone from the Netherlands. All right, 0924. Okay, thank you, Justice. I'm glad you're here. Enjoy the Netherlands. Okay, here's a question from Acer211. Have you seen the 2006 Scientology movie, The Bridge? Yes. It's been available for free to watch online for many years. I have. I didn't like it. I really didn't. I really didn't think it represented. I know other people that think it's fantastic who are in Scientology and they think it's terrific. I just didn't. It just didn't. To me, I didn't really get it. It didn't. It seemed like it missed some major things that they could have done. And I didn't think they represented Hubbard that well, or if I didn't even know if it was supposed to be him. It was just sort of, I didn't like it. It wasn't my thing. But I do know people who do like it. So I'm not saying it's all bad. It just wasn't good in my world. I'm absolutely learning something. Oh, good, Susan. Thank you for letting me know that. That really helps me. It does. And if you guys have anything that you want for me to talk about, please post it before we end off, because that's important too. Because you might hear it on another thing and go, I don't know. Maybe Tori would know. And if I don't, I'll just say I don't. Hey, over and out. All right. Hi, Tori and everyone. That's a cute Nick. All right. Here's Charles. Oh, okay, good. This is what he was laughing about, because he hates humidity too. Summers are bad where we grew up, but Florida is definitely a hellscape for those of us who are miserable when it's humid out. That's true. And it's like, I never realized some people aren't. That was the shock for me, Charles. It was like, you like being in humidity? I mean, it was just like shocking to me. It was like, oh yeah, my skin's so much better when I'm in humid. And I was like, oh, you could take it forever and ever and ever. Yeah, so I love it out here for that reason. I really do. Okay, thank you. You guys are too, Justice. I love it how patient you always are, Tori. Thank you. I try to be, but you guys have to let me know if you feel like I'm taking too long, taking up different things. Let me know, because I care about you. If you want to hear something, you want me to talk more about something, you have a question about something, ask it. Because it does help. It helps. Here's from Verity. Hi, Miss Tori. I forgot to say hi. I've been lurking here the whole time. All right. Well, thank you for saying hi. I appreciate it. Hi, Tori. How have you been? Good. Very good. Thank you for coming. And please like the video. Take time to like it. And if you haven't subscribed, do that also. Um, yeah, I've been good. I've been really good. I'm just like, wow, this whole thing has just been fun for me. It's been really a good thing. It's just been a good thing. I like it a lot. Um, please smash the like button. Casey Knight. Good. Thank you. And make sure you're subscribed. Yep, definitely. Definitely. All right, I am subscribed. All right, Fluffer Squirrel UK. I check every morning. Okay, good. I'm hesitant to use superlatives, but a cup of wit, Tori Magoo, and friends is one of the best parts of my day. Ah, thank you. That's kind. Well, we're happy to have you here. And I'm so excited that you have that list. That will help a lot of people. I've already referred you to quite a few people because they're trying to find, there's like one lady's in San Francisco and there's only two of them and they want to protest. And I said, talk to Fluffer Squirrel in UK because she has a list of, I know there's more than two in San Francisco. So I want them to find more people to do it with. So that's a big help because she has a list. In case any of you don't know that, she has a list, Fluffer Squirrel UK, of all, I don't know if it's all the different cities or just the SPTV where they are. But I thought originally you said in each city, you'd kind of track down where they were people that they could pick it with. Or someone told me that and said you had it. I don't know if that's true or not. You should, if you let me know if that's true or not. All right. Okay, and this is Alaska comment. 5 years after the Lisa McPherson Trust closed down, after Scientology conducted the court-enabled phony review and all, Bob Minton signed over the ownership of the former LMT building. Yeah, that was a messy time. It really was. I know I talked to Bob personally. He called me on the phone crying. I mean, it was awful. And he was like, you know, it was just a mess. It was just a big, big mess. And then he died. He moved to Ireland and died. I think he had a heart attack. But anyway, I'll always love him and I'll always miss him. And yeah, that's too bad. Thank you for that, Alaska. And witnesses saying, hey, Fluffer Squirrel. Okay, now this says, Fluffer Squirrel, UK, yes. YouTube has been unsubscribing people in the last few days, driving everyone a little mad. Why are they doing that? That is so weird. I heard that, and I just thought, oh, that hopefully it came and went. Hi, love it. Good to see you. She says, hi, lovelies. Everyone's saying hi to you. Good to have you here. We were talking about weight and did Scientology help you? And I said, absolutely not. I lost my 100 pounds with Weight Watchers. And I went, what night? Tonight's Friday night, right? Is tonight Friday night? It is. It is because we watch Bill Maher. That's right. But Thursday night I go to Weight Watchers, and I went last night, and I'd lost 1.6 pounds. So, but not that I need to lose it because I'm just maintaining. But I'd gotten way up, and so I got that all the way back down. So that was good. I was really happy about that. That's the thing that Flora taught me. Just get back on program. If you're off program, just do whatever you're doing and then get back on program. And that's what I do. And it works. It's been a miracle for me because I didn't like being 100 pounds overweight. It's clumsy. I have to head off early. Okay. Good night, all. Thank you, Tori, as always, for your time. You are welcome, SP Articus. I am. Thank you for your comments and questions. All right. Everyone's saying hi to Love It. Now, this is Tori missed last night, but you so kindly ordered something for her and wants to thank you. Oh, thank you, Casey. Yeah. I'm not sure what it is. I'm kind of in mystery on that. If you could let me know, that would help. Or you could send me an email and I'll show you the email again. Dun, 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 dun. There's my email. And if you could send me just a quick email, because I tried to poke around on Amazon and I'm having a hard time finding my own wish list. It's there. We sort of found it, Love It and I, but I I wasn't sure what things were purchased or not. And anyway, so if you can just let me know, that would be great. And I think she said that you sent it to Jessica. So if that's true, if you'd let me know that also, that would be great. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Love It, for letting me know that it was Casey. That's great. All right. So, all right. So, Gurroar says there's 110 in the house. The fact you can get over 100 fun people on Friday together is pretty cool, Tori. Thank you. I agree. I really like our group. It's a really cool group of people. And I don't know. I really love meeting with you guys. And you're right. On a Friday night, it's like, wow, that's amazing. Okay. Hi, Tori. You're one of the only streams I catch live and love it. It's 5:30 Saturday evening, so watching having a cocktail. Okay, so you're in Australia or New Zealand? That's my guess, but you let me know. Good. That sounds good. Happy Saturday night. Wow. Good evening from New Zealand. There's Sophie. Hi, Sophie. It's so funny. I feel like I know you guys. It always is amazing to me because it just is. All right. Now, IDK about ad revenue. I forget what IDK is, but I'll look it up. About ad revenue from live streams, but super chat where viewers can donate while watching is easy to turn on in the YouTube Studio app. I know, it's just I don't know what happened. We tried to do it. Let me just write it down. The super chat, and it's in. Does it say super chat in the YouTube Studio app? Aren't you near here? Charles, you're near here. You said you were near CC, right? So maybe you could come over some night and help me. I need help with this. Let me know if you can. That would be great. Okay. I can't stand human weather. Yeah, me neither. Living in a city on the banks of not one, but two major rivers in South Europe. Ooh, but you're in Southern Europe. It's a humidity and mosquito festival for a good chunk of the year. Yeah, that's the problem with it. I know my brother's on that island, off of Thailand, and he said the same thing. There's humidity and bugs and stuff like that. That part of it isn't the greatest. That's the way I feel about Florida too. Ugh, besides the humidity, those bugs. If you've ever lived in Florida, they have these palmetto bugs that are like this big. They're awful. They're really spooky. Anyway, question. What type of trade jobs, like plumber, electrician, or construction, are trained to the point of proficiency among the Sea Org members? Sort of qualified for future work other than security. It's really surprising. they gain tremendous skills in the Sea Org. It just depends on what they're trained for, but what their job is. But um, they definitely have plumbers and electricians in construction, and I've seen them build things. I mean, it's just amazing. And I mean, they can just whip it up and take it down, and the next day they got another thing up and they got it down. This was in Portland when they had the Portland Crusade. It was just unbelievable. We were all like, wow, that's the Sea Org in action. And it really is. So they have a lot of skills. They just have to figure out once they leave how to transform them into skills that they can, use to get jobs. But they can, and a lot of them do. A lot of them have. So they definitely, it's just a matter of, like, let's say you've been a communication director in Scientology, but out in the real world, you could say, I've been a director of communication, or I've been an office manager, or different things like that. There's a ton of stuff. So they get trained in a lot of stuff, but I wouldn't say join it to do that. I'd say go to school, because school is A, quicker, and B, you're certified. Where you're not certified in Scientology, you have nothing. You have the Scientology certificates, but that means nothing in the real world. Okay, Tori, what was the main reason that you joined Scientology? I'll show you, my friend. I was in college, and my friend brought me this book, this exact book, Dianetics, Modern Science of Mental Health. And I didn't want to read the whole book, so I read 3 chapters on helping people go clear. And I wanted to help people. So I thought that's really what I want to do. That's why I want to join Scientology. So that was it. And I had an argument with my dad, and he said, it's time to go to bed. It was 10:30. I'm a night owl. Here we are. It's like, what time is it? 12:45, and I'm wide awake, and so at 10:30, I'm not going to bed. And I said, Dad, I'm in college. And he said, look, it's our morals or no school. And I didn't want to go to school anyway. Now I decided I wanted to be a Dianetic auditor. So I wrote on a mirror, your morals or no school, screw you. And I never said that to my dad, ever. But I did. And I packed my bag, and I hitchhiked from Chicago to Los Angeles. Because on the back of the Dianetics book, this had a cover at the time. And on the back, it said American St. Hill in St. Hill, England, or St. Hill in St. Hill, England, or American St. Hill in Los Angeles. And I knew I didn't have the money to get to England. So I thought, looks like I'm going to LA. So I packed my bags and hitchhiked from Chicago to LA by myself in 1969. That's kind of amazing, isn't it? I mean, now I think, oh my God, unbelievable. So that's the main reason I joined, to help people. I really did. I wanted to be a Dianetic auditor and help other people. That was it. Oh, cool. For the future. I love that. Sophie, it's Saturday evening here in New Zealand. So hi from the future. Yeah, we used to always love that. We have a friend who was in Australia, and he would come on the xscientology.net, chat board, and we would wait for him because he had the news of the next day. If there was some big thing that was happening in the news about Scientology, he'd always have it. It was really great. And we always loved the New Zealanders and the Australians because they're in the future. That's right. Well, anyway, thank you. Okay, good. Casey, thank you. She said you're welcome, and I will send you an email regarding what I purchased, as well as a link to the Amazon wish list. Thank you. That would help. That would really help. Thank you. Okay, this is the one that she's in the future. Okay, and so happy to catch a live on vacation in the Bahamas. Go, Renee. Wow, that's fancy. Well, I hope you're having good fun. That sounds wonderful. All right, here's a comment. IDK means I don't know. Oh, interesting. I wouldn't have thought that because it's capitalized. See, so somehow I thought that meant something different because it was capitalized. I don't know. Okay. Thank you. Not that I'll remember it, but I'll try. IDK. I don't know. All right. That's good. All right. So here's a question. What is the Scientology Parishioners League? Oh, God. That's a one for tomorrow night or another night, in the future. I will definitely do it. I'm going to write it down because um, it's a longer story than I want to tell you right now. And I think it's an important one. And so that's the next one that we're going to do. Here you go. So I'll tell you then. But it basically was something that the vice president of Scientology, just so you're not left not knowing what it is, the vice president of Scientology called me up and said, we need you to come over. We need some ideas. I said, okay. So I went over and she said, this guy who's a writer is thinking of joining. Maybe I can just tell you real quick, but he's thinking of starting a group. And I said, okay. And so she went around the room. There were like 4 or 5 people, and it was like, well, what are your experiences, handling things out in the community? And the guy who was the writer had one thing he'd done. The rest of it was ideas. And each person had 1 or 2 things, and I had about 20. And so she said, okay, you're in charge. You're going to start this. And I said, no, I'm not. I don't want to do this. And she said, I don't care. You have the experience and we need help. So you're doing it, Tori. So I was like, okay, whatever. But anyway, we named it the Scientology Parishioners League because they were trying to make Scientology, and they still are, more of a religion, to have more of a religious front. So instead of calling them members, we're calling them parishioners, right? That's what was happening. And my job was our job, it was like 4 of us, was whenever there was any written stuff about L. Ron Hubbard, if it was bad, we had to call him up and clarify it and get it cleaned up. I'll tell you more about it, but that's the essence of it. That's what the Scientology Parishioners League was. And they came and stole all my hard drive. They either erased it or stole it. So it was gone. And I know that was Yachty because I know my husband wouldn't let Osa in here. But they did. It's like rats. They didn't want anybody to know that they were doing this kind of thing. And here I am. You should have let me go. Just like all these other people that you just do this shit to instead of just letting them go. Why do you have to harass all these kids with this swatting? It just pisses them off. All right. Now, let's see. This is a question, I think. Did your friend join? Did your friend join? Now, someone else is saying something. This has happened a couple times where there's 2 posts that are on top of them. After, I don't know. It's Blue Genie. I don't know what your question was. And then Sassy Cat asked, did your friend join? And I don't know which friend you mean, if you're talking to me. Is Dianetics an interesting book? No. It's really a confusing book. And I'll tell you, I did these Book 1 seminars in the 80s. They trained me as a flag legionnaire. So now I'm supposed to go around and do these seminars training people on Dianetics, which I did. But the shocking thing was some of the top trained auditors in Scientology came to do that seminar, and they could not get it. It was really shocking to see these guys were the highest trained people and they could not get Dianetics. I mean, it really took a lot. They were like, well, I'm not sure if I know what the reactive mind is. And I'm like, you're a class 8. This is a 2-day seminar. Move along. Of course you know what it is. It was just sort of like, oi. But it's every person I've ever talked to who knows Dianetics and has read it goes, oh, what a crazy book. It's just sort of filled with, it's like if somebody just dumped your trash can on you and said, there you go. Why don't you wear that to the party? It's no, I wouldn't even consider it. Okay, so no, it's not an interesting book. It's a book filled with Hubbard's insanities. And remember, he was popping pills all the time while he was doing it. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Love your honesty and style. I appreciate that. I try. Okay, comment. Formal education, whether it's trade school, college, or even a one-off course, trumps Scientology any day of the week. Oh, 100%. And I can't say it enough. I used to be really big on telling kids to go to college because I, of course, quit college and got in the cult. But now I don't, because I've run into so many college graduates who are selling shoes and stuff like that. And I'll say to them, because they're sharp, right? And I'll say, you might consider going to college. And they go, I have a master's degree. And I go, what are you doing selling shoes at Ross? And they're like, there's no jobs out there. And it's like business. A lot of them major in business, and there just aren't there any jobs. So you have to find, now I promote trade schools because you can do a trade school, especially in the medical industry. You can do a trade school in like 6 months, 8 months, and you're making money or whatever you like. Let's say you like cutting hair, go and get trained in, hairdressing or nails or building cars, whatever you like. Do that because you're going to work for a long time. That was the thing that I didn't get. I really didn't get how long I was going to be working. I told my mom, I said, if you would have let me work for 1 year and made me pay rent and everything, I would have had a PhD. I would have, because I just had no clue. And they had money and, my dad was a celebrity and, we had a lot of fun and it was just like life was good. And same for everybody on our block. It was just like everybody seemed like they were doing great. So that's how I thought life was. I had no idea that no, it isn't. I mean, a lot of people slave away for a long time, me being one of them after years of, unbelievable. So now I tell kids, get trained in something where you can hang out your shingle and make some money. Because a lot of people come here to LA to be actors, just like the kid today. He wants to be an actor. And good for him. I hope he does. But, I said to him, get trained in something so you can make money while you're trying to become an actor. Because that's one of the biggest downfalls of people trying to be in the industry is they can't make any money. But if you learn how to do a trade, you can do the trade and keep trying to get into the industry, and eventually you'll get in. Because the biggest thing is people quit. That's the biggest thing. It's the biggest downfall of the whole thing. It's not that they're not good enough. It's that they quit. Okay. Whoa. Wow, Tori, you are so brave setting off in 1969 like that. You didn't know that, Sophie? Yeah. I know, it's pretty wild. It really was. When I think about it, I'm just like, oh. But I remember I'd been a hippie and then I went back to college. So I'd been in San Francisco in 1967 and 68 as a hippie, with the Doors and, all the bands and, and then protesting. We were protesting all the time for the Vietnam War. So then, then I go back to college and I think I don't want to do college. So then I thought I read the Dianetics book and I thought, well, I could clear people. And that's a lot quicker than college because I wanted to be a doctor. And a doctor, you have to have 4 years of school, 4 years of medical school, internships. My grandfather was a doctor. So I knew the drill. And it's hard work. And I'm basically I didn't have that in me. It was like, I'm not going to make it. I know it. And so I thought I could do this Scientology thing and clear people, and that'll be pretty good. So anyway, that's what happened. But I know it's kind of amazing now. I hitchhiked from Chicago to LA. It kind of blows my mind, and I honestly had almost no recall of it. I remember packing my bags, going to see my brother. I said, "Look, I think this is the answer to my life, but if it isn't, I'm probably taking off." It's just sort of like I'm not going to stay here and be a corporate something. It's just not me. It's not in me. And, then that's the only thing I remember. The next thing I knew, I was walking up to ASHO, seeing ASHO and all these people marching around in their military uniforms and big pictures of LRH all around. And I was like, God, this looks awful. For a hippie? Are you kidding me? I was like, no, not me. And I should have just kept going, but I didn't, because they said, just call this guy if you can't see John, go in and ask for John Hildebrand, which I did. And they said, you can't, he's on course. And so I was like, okay. And I thought, boy, she's pretty snippy. And so then I called my friend and he said, well, call this guy. You can stay at his house. So I hitchhiked out to his house and we got stoned. I think I've told you guys this anyway. The guy finally came out, got me, and got me back in. There you go. I know, it's kind of a crazy story. Okay, question. If a Sea Org member received certified mail with signature envelope through the U.S. Post Office, would they properly process it? It's a good question. I don't think so. I don't, because I've had enough friends try it. And we don't really know, because they have the things like I had to go pick up something today that I had to sign. They won't give it to you unless you sign it. But I think either they have CEO guys that come and sign it, saying it's the person, and they don't know. They probably they have their IDs. Remember they have their passports and everything, so they probably say, "Okay, here it is." And I really don't know, but that's a good question. But I think we could have more people try that. Parents try to have a signature envelope through the U.S. mail office. Would they properly process it? I think you mean where they have to certified mail, yeah, where they have to sign it. Yeah, I think we should start that again. We can try it. I mean, it can't hurt. I have a friend. I can call her and ask her to do that, and we'll see what she says, because she has 2 kids that are in the Sea Org and she misses them a ton. So I know she would do anything. And Phil's kind of the same. He would do anything for his son and his daughter. So either one of those, I could check and see if they have done that. My guess is they've probably already done it. Phil has done just about anything you can think about and then some. He is an amazing father. I mean, he should be very proud of himself. Okay, this is from Maxine B saying, good morning, everyone, watching from the UK. All right, well, thank you for swinging by. We appreciate it. And here's Doug from Clearwater. All right, there you are. Well, I woke up in time to catch at least the part of the live stream. Good morning, Tori. Good morning, Doug from Clearwater. I'm happy you woke up in time to catch us. It's 3:40. Wow. In the morning there. All right. Yeah, you're early. Well, we won't be long, and then you can go back to sleep. Unless you're up for the day. Okay, so everybody's talking to everybody here now. Hi. Okay, Scientology will help you lose weight by taking all your money so you can't afford food. That is the best I've heard. I knew one of you'd have something fantastic. Will help you lose weight by taking all your money so you can't afford food. Someone else had said just by taking all your money, but I thought, well, people don't usually carry around that much money. But taking all your money so you can't buy food, that's them. That's right. That is a good point. BW capture. Thank you. All right. Scientology reminds me of the church. It reminds me, it says OD the church. Pure business, like everything, of course. It's a lot different than most churches, because most churches you can leave. You can't leave Scientology. There's always somebody who asks me this, and I think, glad you're back, Tori. Thank you. Do you think David Miscavige will ever be held accountable? I do. I do. Your time is coming, Davey. I've been warning you about this for a long, long time. And remember what I've told you. You can run, but you cannot hide. And you know where that's a quote from? That's a quote from my friend James Dries, who killed himself. He shot himself to death. But we used to share that card every year. He's the son of one of my best friends who stayed in, and John, who lived here for 7 years. And James was the son. And wait, hang on, because something else popped up. I'm trying to get that. All right, just a second. Wait. Anyway, so James and I think I sent it to him first saying you can run, but you cannot hide, just as a joke. And then he sent, happy birthday. So then my birthday came and he sent me the same card, happy birthday, you can run, but you cannot hide. So we had that going back and forth for years. And then Vicky told me, she said, John bought him a gun and something happened. She said, I don't know what, but you've got to help him, Tori. And I tried to, but I couldn't find him. I could never find him. And finally, we were in John Ryan's apartment, who's a producer. And we were in his apartment watching the Super Bowl. And I saw James's computer. So I put a little sticky note on it just saying you can run, but you cannot hide. And then I put email me. So he sent me an email and he said, when do you want to get together for dinner? Let's go to dinner. And I said, anytime, anytime's good with me. And he said, well, I can run, but I no longer have to hide. So just let me know. And that was it. Then he shot himself. So it's sad, these kids that killed themselves. It really is. Whenever you turn to the camera and start speaking directly to Scientology, Osa, and Miscavige, listing their shenanigans, I can't help but burst out laughing at how foolish they are. Yeah, I know. It is. It's funny, but it isn't when you know there's people in there that are still slaving away and following their directions and feeling like they can't get out. So whoever you are, if you want out, and you should want out, just so you know, it's not suppressive to think you want to leave. It isn't. See, they put that in your head that that's a really suppressive act to want to leave. No, it isn't. It isn't at all. All it is you changing your mind and saying, you know what, I'm sick of this shit. I want out. That's it. That's all it is. It isn't a suppressive act. It isn't a high crime. It isn't a lower condition. It isn't the 80 million terms that they have that if you're in for any length of time, you're sick of hearing them anyway. Just open up the door and walk out and call me and I'll come get you right now. I'll come get you. You gotta make the call. Leap and the net will appear. All right, so okay, but thank you, Alaska. All right, now this says from Sophie, yes, Tori, it's the same here in New Zealand over educated people working in retail. I know, it's so sad, isn't it? Especially, I don't know, I think your country pays for their education, but here, they have these huge debts and they can't even get a job. Have you ever heard of I have, the Monroe Institute. Yeah. It was an out-of-body experience, including set of meditation. Yeah. Did they do anything like that? No, they don't do anything like that in Scientology. In fact, that's considered a high crime. But Arnie Lerma, who now also ended up killing himself, but before he did, he wanted me to do that. He was doing that and having huge wins on it and asked me to do it. And I said, look, because he told me it's about brainwaves. And I said, look, I have epilepsy and you know that. So I don't think that's a good idea. And he said, oh, no, it's fine. And I said, okay, you call him, tell him I have epilepsy and I'm on medication. Should I try it or not? And he called me back and he said, they said, don't touch it. I knew it, because it changes your brain waves. And it's like, no, I don't need that. Me particularly don't need that. But that's too bad that you have the same thing in New Zealand, Sophie. Okay, so there's that. Late to the party. Hey, from Kentucky. Oh, yeah, we saw Janet Smith. Thank you. All right, Marissa. I couch surfed in Europe. I'm very lucky. Nothing bad ever happened to me. Pretty risky, like hitchhiking. Oh, okay. Yeah. I always wanted to do that. I thought that'd be really fun. I always did want to do that. The picture of LRH would have been enough to scare me anyway. No, you don't have to be kidding. It was awful. My first thought was he looks like Adolf Hitler. Because Hitler always had big pictures of himself up around. And it was like, what is the deal with this guy? So yeah, they were pretty scary for me too. All right, now I sent Tori the information by email that she requested from me. I also included her Amazon link, so let her know it is safe to click on the link. Okay, thank you, Casey Knight. Thank you very much. So I'm going to write down your name so I know to look for you. Casey Knight. Thank you. All right, good. Excellent. Thank you very much. All right, now let me click on this little blue thing. Okay, now. Oh, good. Okay, so now this is good. Hi, Tori. I went back to school at 54. Good for you. Became a harm reduction specialist after over 30 years in healthcare. I graduated from high school with a CNA certificate. Hated it, but it opened up the doors. Good. Pinchy Becky. Oh, Eve Skippin. It's hard to say that name. I don't quite get how to say it, but that's good for you. That is really that's an accomplishment. Okay, now this is YRB. If the certified mail came with the requirement of a signature and return receipt signed, it would compile a series of frauds that then could become a federal case. Good point. All right, that's good. So I'm going to talk to those two people and see if they will that's good. That's very good. Thank you, YRB. Very good. Certified mail. I'm going to write it down. Because then if you're saying, okay, so if it came with a requirement of a certification and return receipt, signed it. Okay, like if it wasn't the person, like if they sent it to their kid, but it was somebody else who signed it. Yeah. All right. That'll be interesting to see. I'll definitely talk to him. All right. This is B.H. Mrisker. All right. The rice and beans torture diet in the Sea Org sure seems to be thinning people out at the Blue Building. Interesting. I haven't seen that many people at the Blue Building. So good. If they're thinning out, that's good. Question. Did you see the live on Sassafras with the lady SP of your age? She left 30 years ago. I did, yeah. Yeah. She's 79. Yeah, I did. Thank you. All right. And here's from Alaska. Comment. Congratulations on maintaining the weight, by the way. It takes a lot of discipline and will, and of course, being equipped with the right tools and the info to stay on track. Yeah, it does. But it's really simple for me. It was so difficult to diet because I would diet and then I would just miss everything. And so I would go back to eating and diet and go back to eating and diet and go back to eating. It was just insanity. Whereas this is just a very simple, you get so many points a day. They have over 200 foods that are 0 points, meaning you can eat, it's not, it used to be just vegetables, even fruit you had to count. But now they don't, it's like fruit, vegetables, um, chicken, turkey. They just have lists of stuff, of just tons of food that you can eat. And then you can use your points for whatever you want to use them for. So it's good. Just call me Becky. Okay. Oh, I see. Your name is just call you Becky. Okay. All right. Good. That's good. That keeps it easy. Thank you. Name is okay. Now I don't get what this means. Her name is Pinchy Becky, 0 F's given. That's what her name is? Pinchy Becky, 0 F's given. Okay. All right. I still think just call her Becky is easier. But thank you for explaining that. Okay. I think we're there. Good morning from Scotland. All right. Hi, Scotland. We're all saying hello to you. And we are going to bed. And some of these guys are starting the day and tomorrow. And anyway, we've had a good time together. It's been really good. Thank you all very much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. And I hope you learned a little bit. And there you go. I know I didn't get into weight that much, but I don't know. We got into other stuff. So that's okay. All right. You are welcome for the stream. Thank you very much, Alaska, for your questions and all of you. I really appreciate you here and being here. Good night and sleep well. That's right. We all should sleep well tonight. All right. Well, good. Ooh, and hello from Atlanta. All right. So hi, Atlanta. Thank you and good night. That's a good one. All right, you guys. Well, I love you very much. And I won't probably talk to you tomorrow night because I'm going to see my son. So I'm going to be with him. And there you go. I might, but I don't think so. I think Saturday night, you guys take off and do something fun. And then we'll meet up on Sunday. All right. You covered a lot of ground today. See you in the next one, Tori. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate what you said. I do. Because sometimes I wonder, are these guys happy with this? So it helps to hear. Thank you, Tori. We all just love hearing anything you have to say. Well, okay. Well, anyway, thank you guys for coming. Have a wonderful Saturday and Saturday night. And then I will see you guys soon. All right. Cheers. As my brother always says, cheers. There you go.